Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And today we've got something super special for you guys. Archaeologists discover world's first large-scale sand dune farm at Caesarea, which is a little bit of a misleading title in that I was personally really hoping that they were farming the dune, but while they weren't hauling away cartloads of sand, they had an entire agricultural center here, which is kind of interesting. But Colin, you
The-
want to dive into that?
Yeah, sure. So Caesarea, to set the scene, is it's located in the Eastern Mediterranean, uh, and it used to be called Caesarea Maritima when it was Roman and then Byzantine. It became a healthy medieval city during the Arab and Crusader periods. It's former Phoenician colony that was conquered by the Muslims in 640 and then repeatedly conquered by apparently every crusader who ever lived.
Damn
The
it.
city was taken by Baldwin the First in 1101. Um, Shortly after they had taken Jerusalem in 1099, and true to Jerusalem, the Crusaders proceeded to pillage and massacre the city. In 1187, the Arab leader Saladin retook the city, only for the Third Crusade to conquer it in 1191. And then it was taken over in 1251 by Louis the Ninth of France.
God, they really couldn't catch a
um,
break.
yeah.
It
Then
was
in
the Crusades, my guy.
I
yeah,
know, but
then in 1265, this keeps going, by the way.
oh no!
in In 1265, the Mamluk armies of Sultan Babars took Caesarea away from the Crusaders for what would be the last time.
Jeez.
um, this city is heavily heavily contested during the Crusade period, and it's a halfway important city up to that point and even after. But oh dear God, the Crusades.
Yeah, that seemed to be quite the tumultuous political period, if
Yeah.
I could put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
164 years. Uh, I believe 5 conquests.
Jeez.
Uh,
But
Not fun.
this area is quite unique, and one of the big things that they found was they found an area that they named the Caesarea Gardens, and it's a 1.5 square kilometer area where they found 370 checkerboard crop plots containing a bunch of random assortment of goods, trash
Mhm.
mostly, and they even point to that it was waste in landfills then used for berm construction. So
Yeah,
they quite understood reuse, recycle.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. And berm is a means of sort of raising land to direct a river or a canal. So this was about water management, which is very important because uh, these are these are a desert city. These people are attempting to farm in a desert, and they are farming using sand dunes, partially constructed with this berm as sort of a wind wall in order to sort of keep their fields and crops clear and have patches of soil.
I also think it's kind of interesting, and probably the most absurd fact of the whole thing is the amount of time that they claim was invested into this project, which they say 1 million man
Work,
work
yeah,
days.
work
1
days.
million work days. They weren't saying
Yeah,
man hours. Work days
yeah,
were invested in this project, which, no matter how you break it down, 1 million work days is a lot, even if you
yeah,
have an army of people working there.
yeah. Yeah, 1 million work days translates roughly to, if I had a single human being work for an entire day, it would take them 1 million days to do this.
Or if you had 100,000 people, it would still take them a long time.
Well, actually, 1 million work days with 100,000 people, that's 10 days.
I know, but 10 days is still a lot. And
yeah,
you
10
know
days with 100,000 people,
yeah.
which is probably a greater population than this city ever had.
I mean, okay, 1,000 people.
It's being stacked repeatedly in the medieval period. There's no way it's 6 digits. There's no way its total population was 6 digits.
What if it just became a hideout or like a hangout for all the Crusaders? Yeah. Like, shh, we'll tell people we're fighting here. We'll make it seem like a battle, but we're all just chilling. It's in the Mediterranean. They got nice gardens.
So yeah. These sand dunes actually the practice of sand dune farming actually was it was stopped in the 12th century by the Crusaders. The Crusaders actually destroyed the practice, like many other things they did.
What? The Crusaders destroyed?
I mean, when you're marching to save Constantinople and the first thing you do is set it on fire, you know you're doing something right.
Did they set it on fire, or is there just a poorly timed accident? Did someone fall out a basement window? You know, life's unanswerable questions.
Also, they weren't really saving it.
Well, no, they were saving it.
No. Constantinople calls for aid against Muslim invasion. The Western Europeans answer by going to Constantinople and holding it for ransom.
Okay, that was the 4th time around.
Yeah.
First 3 times,
the first time they washed up on the shore of the Orient and keeled over. Okay, there is not a lot of planning here.
Okay, the first time actually was successful. The second time we don't talk about.
We don't talk about the second.
But yes,
the third one was a little
sand dune farming. Sand dune farming. It was a widespread practice from the Gaza Strip, Sinai Peninsula, Mediterranean coast, the Sahara Desert, even the Atlantic coast of the Iberian Peninsula. So basically, we are looking at Jerusalem to Portugal right now. As far as this being a agricultural practice.
They do highlight that it was a predominantly Islamic practice as well.
Yeah, which is why the Crusaders put a stop to it when they took over in the 12th century, and the gardens at Caesarea seem to be the first one that we have archaeological evidence for. They're the earliest one we found. They're probably not the first, given how extensive they are, but they are the oldest one that we've dug out of the ground.
So what you're telling me as well, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the Christians attacked the Islamic populations because they had technologies and abilities that they didn't.
I think they just did it because they just owned it.
Well, I know, but
they attacked them because they were a military and religious target.
But
AKA
also during this period,
not European Christian.
But also during this period, Christianity suppressed a lot of science and mathematics, while in the Middle East it thrived and actually did a lot.
Yeah,
most of our modern medicine comes from it.
They weren't being attacked for their technology. If anything, they were being attacked, and when their technology was discovered, it was destroyed.
God, just as
much more. This is much more Klingon Empire than anything else.
Oh no.
I mean, to be fair, it was also this was basically all the Pope's idea to be like, hey, if I could bring the Eastern Church in, because they're under threat, I can consolidate all of Christendom in the Mediterranean. Let's do it. I'm sure this won't have centuries worth of consequences.
God, holy wars, religious wars, those always end well.
Well. To be fair, to the Pope there, it was a pretty big target. You're fighting someone who's already your enemy, and if you win, in theory, Constantinople bends the knee to you. And if Constantinople bends the knee, then Kiev, Warsaw, and Moscow all have to acknowledge you, because Constantinople was technically their head of, their head religious center.
Gee, I
still didn't work out though.
Religious entities being political.
It's not like they haven't always been.
I think that's a great point for us to wrap a bow tie on today's
I
episode.
think that's a great
Thank you guys
episode
for
idea.
watching, and we will see you in the next video.